Hola, hola. The once in a blue moon that I go live early, let alone on time. I wanted to start it just a few minutes early because there's a press conference happening. Excuse me, happening at in 5 minutes. So just to do formality, say hi, and let me pull up this link. We can talk a little bit about it. Also, remember I said my mouse was acting weird the other day. I unplugged everything in the computer because I got new RAM, this gangster RAM, and I posted the videos on Discord, but it was like this gangster RAM and whatever. When I came to hook the computer back up, I plugged everything in. Today, while I'm getting like trying to clean the desk, but it's still a mess, I realized I got two uh, mouses plugged in at the same time, both working at the same time. Like, the other ones, I can't lift it past a certain way, but I had two of them plugged in, and they both worked. So like I touched it on the back end, and it was moving. I touched the one over here, it was moving. I'm like, what? So maybe that's what it was. Because the last couple of days, the mouse has been annoying me. So, all right, Matthew Perry. They're saying multiple arrests. And I don't like the mouse I have now. I got to switch it back, but multiple arrests made. I'm afraid if I go switch it, I'll touch something and the computer shuts off. So I'll wait till after this. um, multiple arrests. This is interesting. Okay, they're saying a doctor, drug dealers in custody. What? Three have been three. There have been three multiple arrests made, including at least one doctor. Damn, they're trying to go OJ, but OJ's doctor. Did they charge OJ's doctor? Did he? He didn't. I think he got away with it, right? Rachel said I was high. I put these eye drops in my eyes before the stream, and my vision was blurry. I couldn't see nothing for a minute. I was like, what the hell? Law enforcement tells us multiple law enforcement agencies have executed search warrants and seized computers, phones, and other electronic equipment to determine who supplied Perry with the ketamine that caused him to lose consciousness and drown in a hot tub. Let me pull up the presser links so we don't miss it. I mean, I've never tried ketamine. I've always heard about it. I've heard good things about it. You know, it is like a sedative. It's supposed to put you out. It's a, I think it's considered something that's used in anesthesia. Anesthesia? The hell am I saying? Maddie's friend's name. Anesthesia. Ketamine. I mean, he must have taken a lot of that. I mean, that's something, it's medical grade. Usually you know the dose. Usually, I mean, unless he got like some bunk stuff or he had some like homemade stuff. I would think if he had a doctor, they would have prescribed him the actual prescription medication. Like it would have been like, how would he get the wrong dose unless he accidentally took the wrong dose or took too much? Like usually those ketamine things, like these vials of ketamine, if that's what he had, I don't know, because there's also powdered ketamine. There's ketamine that people, I don't know, I guess they dip into, but like these vials and shit, I mean, unless he got some black market ketamine, it's usually, you're not going to be like, oh, it's laced or, oh, there's something else mixed with their heroin or coke. It's usually straight, right? But ketamine is prescribed. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of odd to me. Okay. The links. I'll make sure we don't miss this. Okay, they're starting in 2 minutes. I'll leave it open. So they seized all this stuff. This is I think this is one of his last pictures. That was the hot tub. Ketamine had been getting ketamine infusion therapy for anxiety and depression. So unless they screwed up his dose themselves, Elon Musk says that he takes ketamine like microdosing, or I forgot what he says. He takes ketamine. Dondo, aka Special K, it's a rave drug. Yeah, originally intended for feline cats, very experimental. I had a friend that told me she used to take it all the time, and that she would go into something called a K hole, and they called it Special K, and you like trip out, you almost go somewhere else. I've heard people and like using this at a party, using small doses, powder and stuff, and they have fun, I guess. But there's other, I guess, depending on the dose, you could kind of trip out. So the last week and a half, the last therapy was a week and a half before his death. Okay, so the ketamine in his system was not doctor prescribed. Uh-oh. Seems he broke the story. Perry had the same level of ketamine in his system that is used for general anesthesia. So too much. The ketamine Perry ingested was not legally prescribed, and multiple agencies, including DEA, Post Office, LAPD, have conducted a criminal investigation for months. We're told at least one doctor has been arrested, along with several dealers who helped arrange and deliver the ketamine to Perry. Damn. Our sources say the search warrant revealed text messages discussing Perry and the ketamine he wanted and what they were doing to get it to him. The text also discusses the price the friend's actor would pay for the drug. I mean, I feel like if it was anybody else, you want to find out the dealers, the doctors, and blah, blah, blah. I wonder why the doctor's getting arrested. Okay. Sources tell TMZ authorities got a search warrant for Brooke Muller, Charlie Sheen's ex. Charlie Sheen's wild. That guy. Who had been in treatment center with Perry, but as far as we know, she's not connected. Their investigation, authorities found other celebs who were involved in the Hollywood drug scene. Damn, everybody going down. Okay. Let me pull up this presser. I guess we'll find out more. I heard about this earlier this morning. I had thought about going live, but then to me, there wasn't really a lot yet. I'm glad I waited. Things happening today. What's happening today? At 3 o'clock on the main channel, I'm going to cover this child killer. Manhunt, today's day 3 on the loose. 300 cops searching for him. He killed a 1-year-old. And they were transporting him from prison to like this medical facility. And he had loosened his, I don't know how he got out of the cuffs or whatever they had him in. But when the cops opened the door, it was 2 of them. He busted out and ran, hauled ass to the woods. And they believe he had help. So, I don't know. We'll see about that. Then 4:30, we got the Trump press conference. He's going to talk his shit. At 1:30 today, in 30 minutes, Kamala and Biden, they're going to be talking together. And what I found interesting about that is that on the White House page, the thumbnail for the video, I posted it on Twitter. It says, remarks, President Biden and Vice President Harris deliver remarks on lowering costs for the American people. Like, what? You guys have been in office. Day one. This should have been day one conversations. But I guess because it's election time and these people will just eat whatever, you can keep telling these people the same effing thing over and over and over, and they'll just keep believing you over and over and over and over and over and over and keep voting for the same shit over. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Meanwhile, reality in front of you, rent is expensive, housing is expensive, houses, the groceries, everything. I think even gas is going up. I think. Everything's up. There's no way shit's gone down. The money that you used to be able to make and having a decent living is not the same anymore. It's only gone up and up and up and up and up. Oh, here we go. Damn. Okay. CBS, you screwed me.
Law enforcement, my office, and our partners represented on this stage began an in-depth, wide-ranging investigation. That investigation has revealed a broad, underground criminal network responsible for distributing large quantities of ketamine to Mr. Perry and others. Wow. This network included a live-in assistant, various go-betweens, 2 medical doctors, and a major source of drug supply known as, quote, the ketamine queen.
Wow, what?
We charged 5 defendants in this matter. These defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves. They knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew what they were doing was risking great danger to Mr. Perry, but they did it anyways. In the end, these defendants were more interested in profiting off Mr. Perry than caring for his well-being. I'm going to talk about the indictment, the allegations, and the charges in more detail. On October 28, 2023, Mr. Perry was found deceased in his home. An autopsy was conducted following his death. That autopsy showed that he had died due to the acute effects of ketamine. Ketamine is a controlled substance. It has some legitimate uses, but it is also used illegally. It is used by people seeking to disassociate from reality. It can cause serious health effects, serious health problems, including loss of consciousness, including spikes in blood pressure, and including respiratory issues that can deprive the brain of oxygen. For that reason, it is a drug that must be administered by medical professionals, and the patient must be monitored closely. That did not occur here. This investigation focused on who supplied the ketamine to Mr. Perry. As many of you know, Mr. Perry struggled with addiction in the past. And on many occasions, he sought help for his addiction issues. The investigation revealed that in the fall of 2023, Mr. Perry fell back into addiction, and these defendants took advantage to profit for themselves. The two lead defendants in this case are defendants Salvador Plasencia and defendant Jasvin Sanya. First, I'll talk about defendant Plasencia. Defendant Plasencia was a medical doctor. He worked with another medical doctor, defendant Mark Chavez, to obtain ketamine. He then worked with Mr. Perry's live-in assistant, defendant Kenneth Iwamasa, to distribute that ketamine to Mr. Perry. Over 2 months, from September to October 2023, they distributed approximately 20 vials of ketamine to Mr. Perry in exchange for $55,000 in cash. Defendant Plasencia saw this as an opportunity to profit off of Mr. Perry. He wrote in a text message in September 2023, quote, "I wonder how much this moron will pay." He also stated in text messages that he wanted to be Mr. Perry's sole source of supply. He wrote in a text message that he wanted to be Mr. Perry's, quote, "go-to for drugs." As a doctor, defendant Plasencia knew full well the danger of what he was doing. In fact, on one occasion, he injected Mr. Perry with ketamine, and he saw Mr. Perry freeze up and his blood pressure spike. Despite that, he left additional vials of ketamine for defendant Iwamasa to administer to Mr. Perry. Of course, defendant Iwamasa had no medical training to speak of. Defendant Plasencia knew what he was doing was harming Mr. Perry. He had spoken to another patient in mid-October 2023, and he told that patient that Mr. Perry was spiraling out of control with his addiction. Nonetheless, defendant Plasencia continued to offer ketamine to Mr. Perry. Likewise, defendant Sanya knew what she was doing was harming defendants and also Mr. Perry. She took advantage of Mr. Perry by selling large amounts of ketamine to Mr. Perry over a 2-week period in October of 2023. She sold approximately 50 vials of ketamine for approximately $11,000 in cash. She worked with a broker, defendant Eric Fleming, and also the live-in assistant, defendant Iwamasa, to distribute this ketamine. Sanya and the broker, defendant Fleming, saw this as an opportunity to profit off of Mr. Perry. In a text message, the broker wrote, quote, "I wouldn't do it if there wasn't a chance of me making some money for doing this." Defendant Sanya sold the batch of ketamine that resulted in Mr. Perry's death on October 28th.
Frozen.
Officers later searched defendant Sanya's home. During that search, they found what amounted to a drug-selling emporium. They found 80 vials of ketamine, thousands of pills containing methamphetamine, cocaine, bottles of Xanax and other illegally obtained prescription drugs, and drug-selling paraphernalia, including scales and ledgers. As I mentioned, the defendants in this case.
They're having issues. They're the only people that have issues.
Investigation, we learned that several years before that investigation has revealed a broad underground criminal network to another customer. That person died the same day.
Wow. Okay, hold on. Check this out. How crazy is this shit? All right, let's rewind it for a second.
Or quote, cans. Also, defendants Placencia and Chavez, as medical doctors, knew full well this was not the proper way to administer ketamine, and they even talked about that in their exchanges. And defendant Sonia also knew that she was doing something that caused great risk to Mr. Perry. In fact, during this investigation, we learned that several years before, in 2019, defendant Sonia had sold ketamine to another customer. That person died the same day.
Wow.
And a family member of that person sent a message to defendant Sonia telling her the cause of death was ketamine. Nonetheless, defendant Sonia continued selling drugs, including ketamine, including the ketamine that ultimately killed Mr. Perry. That other victim was a person named Cody McLaury. He died in 2019. As a result of this investigation, we have filed a drug distribution charge related to the death of Mr. McLaury. After Mr. Perry died, these defendants tried to cover up what they had done. On October 28th, after reading news reports of Mr. Perry's death, defendant Sonia wrote a text message to defendant Fleming saying, quote, delete all our messages. Likewise, after Mr. Perry's death, defendant Placencia falsified medical records and notes to try to make it look like what he was doing was legitimate. It was not.
Wow.
We have filed numerous federal charges against the 5 defendants. These charges include conspiracy to distribute ketamine, distribution of ketamine resulting in death, maintaining drug-involved premises for that drug-selling emporium the defendant Sonia had, altering and falsifying records related to a federal investigation for those false medical notes and records that defendant Placencia made, and multiple other trafficking counts. Of course, the defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty. The penalties these defendants face are very significant. With regard to defendant Placencia, the statutory maximum sentence he faces is 120 years in federal prison. And with regard to defendant Sonia, the statutory maximum she faces is life imprisonment. By filing these extensive and serious charges, we are sending a clear message. If you are in the business of selling dangerous drugs, we will hold you accountable for the deaths that you cause. This is nothing new for us. Since 2022, my office has filed over 60 cases against drug dealers who've caused the death of another person. These cases are known as death resulting cases. They are labor-intensive cases, and we work with our law enforcement partners, including ones represented here today, to bring those cases. Our office is a national leader in bringing those cases. They're very important because every victim's life counts. If you are in the drug selling business and you're selling dangerous drugs, you are playing roulette with other people's lives, just like the 5 defendants here did to Mr. Perry. Defendants nowadays are on full notice that the products they sell could result in the death of another person. Therefore, if you're in the drug business, and despite these risks you continue in the drug business, you are pushed by greed to gamble with other people's lives, be advised, we will hold you accountable. I want to thank our partners in this case, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. These investigators did a phenomenal job digging into the case, looking at every angle to develop a case, a strong case, against not only those who killed Mr. Perry, but also Mr. McLaury. I want to note that these cases are important and we'll continue to collaborate with our law enforcement partners to bring them, to ensure that justice is brought to every victim. And finally, let me thank the prosecutors responsible for the investigation and the prosecution
what do you guys
of this
think?
case. Those are Assistant United States Attorneys Ian Yanello and Xiaohan Tsai. And now I'd like to introduce Chief
Carly.
of Los Angeles Police Department, Dominic Choi.
All right. Good morning, and thank you, Martine. You know, while it's tragedy that brings us all here together, I'm happy to stand here knowing that these dangerous individuals are no longer on the streets and they won't be able to harm anyone else. The Los Angeles Police Department and our partners here today, we're committed to investigating all cases like this, and it's regardless of someone's background or socioeconomic status. And just with all of our cases, this investigation was done impartially. We let the facts drive this investigation, and those facts led us to a group of individuals who were responsible for supplying and distributing to Mr. Perry narcotics that led to his unfortunate and untimely death. The group standing here today, it's a prime example how our partnerships and our collaboration can yield meaningful results. I want to thank LAPD, our Robbery Homicide Division, who's standing in the back there, the U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada and his team, the DEA and her team, as well as the U.S. Postal Inspection Service and their team for their hard work, diligence, and real patience. Now, I know people think this took a long time. There was a lot of work, a lot of investigative strategies that went into this to make sure that there's a solid case and that we can pursue this in the courts. Our relationship with our federal partners, it helps us ensure that these criminals will have meaningful sentences and be an example for anyone that is willing to risk or jeopardize distributing and supplying unlawful or narcotics to anyone. And I just really want people to know that that is the message. You cannot get away with this regardless of your background or socioeconomic status. Breaking the law is breaking the law, and you are dangerous and you are jeopardizing lives. So thank you all of my partners for being involved in this and bringing us to where we are at today. And at this time, I'd like to introduce DEA Administrator Ann Milgram.
Good morning. Today we announce charges brought against 5 individuals who together are responsible for the death of Matthew Perry. Each of the defendants played a key role in his death. They falsely prescribed, sold, or injected the ketamine that caused Matthew Perry's tragic death. In the United States, most forms of ketamine are only approved by the Food and Drug Administration for anesthesia. A nasal spray version is approved for treatment of depression, but only in a certified medical setting. Here, Matthew Perry sought treatment for depression and anxiety and went to a local clinic where he became addicted to intravenous ketamine.
Money. Yeah.
When clinic doctors refused to increase his dosage, he turned to unscrupulous doctors who saw Perry as a way to make quick money. Dr. Plasencia and Dr. Chavez violated the oath they took to care for their patients. Instead of do no harm, they did harm so that they could make more money. Without performing any medical evaluation or monitoring, they supplied Matthew Perry with large amounts of ketamine in exchange for large sums of money, charging Perry $2,000 for a vial that cost Dr. Chavez approximately $12.
Wow, that's incredible. The way they up you like that because they know he has money. So they charge him $2,000
of money with large amounts of ketamine in exchange for large sums of money, charging Perry $2,000 for a vial that cost Dr. Chavez approximately $12.
Wholesale.
As Matthew Perry's ketamine addiction grew, he wanted more, and he wanted it faster and cheaper. That is how he ended up buying from street dealers who sold the ketamine that ultimately led to his death. In doing so, He followed the arc that we have tragically seen with many others, whose substance use disorder begins in a doctor's office and ends in the street. Perry turned to his street dealer, Eric Fleming, who sourced his ketamine from a drug trafficker known as the Ketamine Queen, Jasmine Sangha. The ketamine supplied by Sangha would ultimately be the dose that took Matthew Perry's life.
Ketamine Queen.
Sangha knew that the ketamine she supplied could be deadly, since in 2019 she had sold ketamine to Cody McLaury, who died at the age of 33. But despite this knowledge, she continued to sell ketamine and methamphetamine throughout Los Angeles. Matthew Perry's journey began with unscrupulous doctors who abused their position of trust because they saw him as a payday. And it ended with street dealers who sold him ketamine in
No, you probably think the doctors are well off, they got good money and stuff. Like, why would they try to take advantage of you? But I guess people are greedy and maybe fast, easy money and cash. I can't imagine what it must have been like to be Perry. Probably can't trust many people, whose intentions are real and shit,
unmarked files.
Especially that story where they said that, like, was it the doctor? The doctor came in there and did he give him his first shot or something? Give him a shot of the ketamine. His blood pressure spiked. Matthew froze, and then he was like, "Okay, bye," and leaves him with this other person that has no kind of medical experience.
The desperation that led Perry to these individuals was not met with help, as it should have been from the doctors, but instead it was met with exploitation. Exploitation by those who should have guided him toward help. This betrayal of trust is at the heart of this tragedy. Since 2023, DEA has investigated nearly 500 drug poisoning and overdose cases just like Matthew Perry's. We run a national initiative known as OD Justice, where we work with our state and local law enforcement partners to conduct investigations after someone has passed away. And it is important to note that the national model we today have in every 50 state across the United States is based on the work that started here in Los Angeles. We began this work with our partners in the Los Angeles Police Department and with other local police departments and sheriff's offices in California, in the Los Angeles area, and with the U.S. Attorney's Office. And today it stands as our national model for this critical work. Together, as part of OD Justice, we work to bring justice for the lives that have been lost and to stop others from dying. Regardless of the size or scope of a drug distribution network, the DEA will work nonstop to uncover and disrupt this illegal activity, and in this case, the deadly activity. I want to close by noting that Matthew Perry's death is not just a tragic overdose. After his 2020 book openly discussed his struggles with substance use disorder, Matthew Perry told podcast host Tom Power that he would prefer to be remembered for helping people rather than for his work on Friends as Chandler Bing. And so perhaps what has happened and the tragic details that we are discussing today can help others and save lives. I want to thank the Los Angeles Police Department, the United States Postal Inspection Service, and the United States Attorney's Office in the Central District of California for their tremendous partnership and their outstanding dedication to this case. I also have the privilege of serving every single day with the men and women of the DEA, and today I want to particularly recognize the outstanding work of our Los Angeles Field Division, as well as our diversion investigators who tirelessly worked on this case to bring justice to the victims and the families. Thank you. It's now my privilege to introduce Postal Inspector Shields.
Good morning, and again, welcome. I'd like to thank U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada for his tireless dedication to protecting the residents of the Central District of California and his partnership with the Postal Inspection Service. As the nation's oldest law enforcement agency, the Postal Inspection Service has had a long, proud, and successful history of combating criminals who misuse our nation's postal system and cause harm to our employees and customers. This is our mission. In this case, our agency, in partnership with the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles Drug Enforcement Administration, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, worked to seize, search, and analyze evidence that has culminated in arrests and a dismantling of the group that is responsible for providing the ketamine and the reported contributed to the death of Matthew Perry. In this case, these individuals knowingly and willfully distributed ketamine to Mr. Perry as he struggled to overcome addiction, which ultimately led to Mr. Perry's tragic demise. Unfortunately, every day in this country, families are grieving for their loved ones lost to drug overdoses. We want these families and the American public to know that the Postal Service will not be an unwitting accomplice to anyone using the U.S. mail to distribute illegal drugs or drug paraphernalia. The Inspection Service continues to work tirelessly to rid the mail of illicit drugs, fight drug trafficking and the associated violence, preserve the integrity of the mail, and most importantly, provide a safe environment to postal employees, customers, and the American public. The Postal Inspection Service is turning the tide against drug dealers. Detecting and stopping their shipments is only the beginning. Tracing illegal drugs back to the source and shutting them down is the ultimate mission. Once again, a tremendous thank you to our partners in federal and state and local law enforcement, as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office, for their continued collaboration and hard work in support of this mission. Thank you.
I'll now do brief remarks in Spanish, and then we'll do questions and answers. Where are the Spanish language
Just
reporters?
skip forward a bit.
Matthew Perry. Esta red como en este caso, mandamos un mensaje muy claro.
Okay, so we'll let him do his thing in Spanish. So, big news, big news. 5 people arrested. 5 people, including 2 doctors. Holy moly. Wait, are they taking questions?
Found Matthew Perry in the hot tub. Is that also one of the people who's being charged in this case? Is that the assistant?
I didn't hear that. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, the person, the assistant that's being charged in this case, is that also the person that found Matthew Perry in the hot tub?
So the personal assistant we charged is defendant Kenneth Iwamasa. He was the one live-in assistant for Mr. Perry.
Oh, so he got charged.
Is he the one that
Yes.
found him in the hot tub?
Yes.
The doctor, when the patient tragically died in 2019, did law enforcement look into that death when they found out the patient died?
I can't comment on that. What I can say is that through this investigation, we were able to connect defendant Sonia to that death in 2019 and file a charge related to that to vindicate the victim, Cody McClory.
Are there any details about this? Sir?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about, and maybe this is for DA Administrator Milgram, but can you talk a little bit about the line between legitimate ketamine therapy treatment and was, Matthew Perry ever receiving legitimate ketamine therapy treatment? And then when did that cross over? Were the defendants involved in that clinic where he was receiving legitimate treatment, if that's the case?
So let me say this.
Yes.
In this case, we are not talking about legitimate ketamine treatment. We're talking about 2 doctors who abused the trust they had, abused their licenses to put another person's life at risk. 5 defendants who, as I mentioned, knew what they were doing was wrong. In fact, one of them had sold ketamine that resulted in the death of another person in 2019. Nothing about what we see today was legitimate, and that's why we filed criminal charges.
Was he ever in?
Yes.
Is this the beginning of an enforcement effort specifically against ketamine? I know you mentioned past cases, the 60 cases, and DEA mentioned it as well. Is there going to be a focus specifically around ketamine?
I think what you've seen is that this is not the beginning, but a continuation of an enforcement effort against synthetic drugs of all kinds. Synthetic drugs, ketamine, but also methamphetamine, fentanyl, are killing people each and every day. We in law enforcement and with the U.S. Attorney's Office are on a campaign to address this and send a message that if you sell drugs, it results in the death of another person, the consequences will be severe.
Any details about the search warrant?
¿Nos pueden decir de los doctores que fueron detenidos?
Hay 2 doctores que son los acusados en este caso, el
Yes,
doctor
doctors.
Plasencia y el doctor Chávez. Los 2 están acusados en este caso. El doctor Plasencia fue arrestado hoy en la mañana. El doctor Chávez
was arrested today this
ya
morning.
ha sido preso y también ya ha declarado su culpabilidad.
Any details about the search warrant as to when it was executed, besides the drugs, any other items that may have been seized or recovered?
So with regard to defendant Sanya, that search warrant was executed earlier this year. During that search, as I mentioned, we found not just 80 vials of ketamine, thousands of pills containing methamphetamine, cocaine, bottles of Xanax and other illegally prescribed drugs, and drug-selling paraphernalia. As I mentioned, it was a drug-selling emporium. You have your hand up in the middle.
Yes, Nikki Smith with Entertainment Tonight. Are there any other celebrities involved in this investigation, and if so, who?
I've mentioned the defendants in this case. We have 5 defendants. The lead defendants are defendants Jasvine Sanya, Salvador Plasencia. We also have defendants Mark Chavez, another medical doctor. We have defendant Kenneth Iwamasa and defendant Eric Fleming. We look at the evidence, we see where that goes. We don't charge people based on whether they're celebrities or not celebrities. We charge them based on the evidence.
I think what my colleague here was getting at before is in the autopsy report that was made public about his death, there were 2 physicians who were listed as being involved in Mr. Perry's treatment prior to his death. One of them was involved in what appeared to be legitimate therapeutic use of ketamine. Is there any indication that the people who were doing the off-label recreational use were connected with the legitimate therapy he was getting at any point? And
So what I'll tell you is, before we get to your second, what I'll tell you is that in our cases, we go where the evidence leads us. We also respect patient privacy. What I will say is an autopsy was conducted. That autopsy showed Mr. Perry died as a result of the acute effects of ketamine. I won't go into further detail about Mr. Perry's personal history.
I don't think that's what he was asking, though. I think what he was trying to say was kind of an interesting question. The people that were doing this like illegal stuff, all this contraband, did they have any ties to the place where he was trying to get therapeutic, ketamine or whatever, like where he first went, and they didn't want to up his dose? Like, was there any kind of connection there? That's actually an interesting question.
Okay.
Yes.
And then
Were any of the 5 charged on your radar prior to Perry's overdose?
I can't comment on that. What I will say is the investigation is ongoing, but what we're announcing today are serious federal charges against these 5 defendants, supported by an extensive investigation.
Sir, can you clarify the relationship?
This woman had been patiently had her hand up. Yes.
Yes, Chavez was detained. When was he detained, and was it related to this case as well?
Defendant Chavez is a defendant in this case.
Right.
We filed this morning a plea agreement for defendant Chavez. So he's already not entered, but we have a filed plea agreement for him.
Oh, they got a plea for Chavez already? All right, who Chavez? Is that one of the doctors? 2 suspects, Jasvine, allegedly ketamine queen, and Salvador Plasencia, a medical licensed doctor, also known as Dr. P. Oh shit, Dr. P. They allegedly used cryptic messaging and coded language referring to ketamine as Dr. Pepper to distribute their drugs. They thought they were so slick. You got that Dr. Pepper? Oh, yeah, I want that Dr. Pepper. 50 cans of Dr. Pepper. Come on, man.
2 other defendants, defendant Iwamasa, have also signed plea agreements. That plea agreement has been entered.
Woo.
And defendant
Everybody getting pleas left and right.
Fleming has signed a plea agreement. That plea agreement has been entered. As I mentioned, the 2
So they're going to burn ketamine queen and the other doctor?
lead defendants in this case are defendants Plasencia and defendant Sanya, who were arrested this morning.
Okay. Plasencia, who's the doctor, one of the doctors, Dr. P. And you sound like you're saying Sonia. Maybe that's how you say it, because her last name is Sangha.
Are defendants Plasencia and defendant Sanya, who
Oh, Sonia. Okay, that's her, yeah. The ketamine queen. All right, so everybody else took a plea deal.
were arrested this morning. Yes, sir.
The Dr. Pepper
there's
hole.
the patient man behind you. There's a moment.
Fiscal, ¿nos puede identificar a los 5 detenidos y nos puede relacionar cómo comenzó la investigación con la reina de la ketamina en el 2019?
Sí, hay 5 acusados. Y ya nombré los acusados. Hoy en la mañana 2 fueron arrestados. Fue la acusada Sanya y el acusado Plasencia, que fue un doctor médico.
Sir, can
Yes.
Yeah, there were reports this morning that the investigation could have uncovered other relevant celebrities who may have been buying from this same network. Is that accurate? Can you give us any sense of the customers that they were dealing with?
So I can't comment on reports that are out there, their accuracy or inaccuracy. What I can tell you are the facts that we developed through our investigation. Those facts are what I've related to you this morning. Yes.
You mentioned the queen of ketamine out of North Hollywood. What does that actually mean? How big was the network of people to whom she was selling narcotics and specifically ketamine?
What I can say about defendant Sonia, known as the ketamine queen, was that she was a major source of supply for ketamine to others as well as Mr. Perry. I think the fact that we searched her house and found a drug selling emporium, including 80 vials of ketamine, would strongly suggest she was selling to many other individuals.
Can you give a number? Dozens, 10?
They don't want to mention those other celebrities, huh?
I cannot, unfortunately, number, no.
Any evidence as far
We only arrest based on the evidence, except if there's celebrity names.
Let me, the
I guess they're just buyers, I guess.
gentleman there in the back.
Extra TV, what has been Matthew's parents or family's reaction to the news coming out today?
So I won't comment on specific statements made by victims' families. We value confidentiality. What I will say is that the work of our office is victim-driven. We work with victims, including their families, each and every day, not just on this case, but on all our cases, including the over 60 death-resulting cases I mentioned earlier. We have been in communication, and I will leave it at that. Yes?
Hello, sir. Were all the defendants American citizens, and where were they sourcing their drugs?
What I can say is that all the defendants, actually I can't comment on citizenship at this time. I can't
It's too offensive. You can't say
comment on the sourcing either. I've
Maybe he doesn't know.
given you the facts in terms of the drug selling. Yes.
Oh, he won't even say. The source, you know,
Sir.
With regard to
the drug companies, that's when they're saying nothing. So they're okay.
see that his death is also a ketamine overdose. Is that investigation into his death linked the investigation with Perry, or was it only after the death of Perry that you realized the link with Mr. McCool's death?
Sure. It was through the investigation in this case, as the investigators did a thorough job, followed every lead, pulled every string to see what had occurred. They learned about the extent of defendant Sonia's criminal conduct and learned about the sale in 2019. And because of that investigation, we have filed a charge related to the death of victim McClory. And that's important because we want to vindicate all victims who suffered these types of tragedies. I'll do two more questions.
Do you have any reason to believe that this so-called queen of ketamine is linked to any more deaths? Are there any more investigations into any more hospitals where she could be linked to?
I think, as I mentioned, we've linked her to sales of ketamine, which resulted in at least 2 deaths. We searched her home. We found a drug-selling emporium. I can't comment. I can't speculate on things such as what you're suggesting. I will say, in this case, she is facing very significant federal charges, including a charge that carries a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence. Yes, sir.
Were these 5 continuing to sell ketamine or other drugs after Perry's death?
I can't comment on that in terms of where they were selling.
No, but in terms of afterwards, were they
What I
still-
can say is that we searched the home of one of the defendants following Mr. Perry's death. She had 80 vials of ketamine, thousands of pills of methamphetamine, cocaine, bottles of
Wow.
Xanax.
Well, she was rolling,
Thank you very
man.
much. Appreciate it.
All the drugs.
Can you just
Wow.
clarify the relation? Really, did the doctors work with the street dealers specifically, or was that a separate sale of ketamine?
I won't comment
or were
on
they
that.
Connected to
So it's the last question because you've been so patient. We charge a conspiracy here. The conspiracy is against all 5 defendants for selling ketamine to Mr. Perry. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The press
thing with
release
that
out,
is-
it's online. We've emailed it. It's on social media. So
The web of people is got to be more than just the 5 people, right? Like, well, okay, I get it. The doctors, whatever. Somehow they were working with these drug dealers. But where do the doctors get the medications from? I get it. Okay, maybe what, they write prescriptions? There was no red flag when they're buying 80 vials or 50 vials. Who knows how often every month? Did they try to say they worked at a hospital and build it to a hospital? They try to build it to a fake business, their own business. It extends more out than that. But these are just the people in the immediate circle that are just going to take the hit. And you got 3 people pleading out, taking plea deals, cop deals. So somebody here on Twitter, Jay Joseph, said, note, last I checked, prior to his death, Matthew Perry was a grown-ass man. So unless he was tied down in ropes with a tube and forced down his throat, it is stupid as hell to hold someone else accountable for actions he voluntarily participated in. He made a choice. That's Twitter. Well, the doctors are doing illegal things. He did make a choice, but the doctors are doing illegal things, drug selling, all this other stuff. I feel like they took the serious action that they did is because he's a celebrity. Because you hear stories like this all the time where it happens once in a while, but you don't hear so often that they're catching these drug dealers or you know what, this person died from OD. We're going to go track down and find the source and the doctors and all these people. No, you rarely ever hear that shit. I'm not hating on Matthew Perry. I'm just saying, I think because of his notoriety, that's why this was taken serious and people are making moves and all this stuff. What the hell is this? They don't mess with insurance companies because that's how you get red flagged. They took it. They did kind of. Julie says they took advantage of his weakness. He was for them. He was like a lick. He was a lick. They knew he was vulnerable. They knew he struggled and he wanted the substances, and they were charging him crazy money, just looking to make some quick cash, money back, profit. Someone was detected at your front door. The hell? Somebody's ringing my bell. Oh, a package, I guess. Okay. All right, a couple of things. Let's see. Biden and Harris, they're about to be taught. They're still not live yet, though. Okay. Other things, real quick. This is happening. Imane Khelif responds to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. This person is suing them for cyberbullying. Says here, I saw that big personalities like Donald Trump had compared me to a man, and it hurt me extremely. I don't understand this relentlessness and all of this hatred. I was afraid, but I got up again. So there was a big dilemma we all know, right? At least most of us should know. Carly says, if you OD now, they find out where the drugs come from and charge the dealer later. It happens all the time now. I don't know. I feel like they haven't really, maybe. I feel like I really hear that so often. Or maybe just nobody's talking about it. So this is Kamani, and she was a boxer, Algerian, I think. And there was controversy because I think she got disqualified from something for having XY chromosomes, but they're trying to say she's saying it's some type of, did they say DSD? Some type of condition that this person has causing them to have that. So it was a huge controversy. Let's see. Gold medal boxer Imane is getting attacked by one of her former sparring partners. Bulgarian-Nigerian women's boxer Joanne Narami sparred with Khelif on several occasions and has bizarre theories on Khelif's background after Algerian boxer was in the middle of a gender controversy. Khelif has some kind of internal issues, but he is a man. See, the thing with this that I think this cyberbully lawsuit, the problem that these people are going to have a bit is that it was a topic of conversation. I mean, I get that these people are huge, but I think it was a topic of conversation, and there was a test at this boxing league, though some people can test that test, she got disqualified. All right, and now you have the supposed previous sparring partner saying Khelif has some kind of internal issues, but he is a man. I will stay by my words until he/she does a test to prove to the world that he/she is a woman. But we all know that won't happen. Oh shit, so she don't give a fuck. Darami then claimed that she was approached by teammates of Khelif's and that the newly crowned gold medalist had been biologically altered by her environment. Wow. Khelif's teammates came to me and told me Imane is not a man. She's a woman and just lives high in the mountains with her relatives and parents, so there may be a change in her testosterone or chromosomes. And the like, I think we played 3 or 4 sparring sessions. I have a record of everything. I can confirm that that is a man to me. Male power, men's techniques, everything. It says here, Khelif is not transgender and was born a woman, although she was banned last year by the International Boxing, IBA, for a mysterious failed test that IBA President Imane Khelif, the Russians, Kremlin, claims showed XY chromosomes. Khelif won the gold in the Paris Olympics last week after she defeated Chinese fighter Yang Lu. Khelif looked dominant throughout her 5 wins to claim the welterweight tournament. All right. So she's suing Elon Musk, Trump, I think the Logan Pauls. You guys gonna get sued too in the chat. The thing that I was saying it's gonna be maybe hard for her to sue is because all these people have been coming out saying that that's what they thought, and now the sparring partner or whatever. So you know. But immediately after, there was a big uproar from big politicians around the world, big athletes around the world, and even artists and stars. The former president of the United States, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, they talked about you. They talked about you, Elon Musk, Trump, this thing that affected me. I'm not lying to you, it affected me. They talked to you about Elon Musk, Trump, this thing that affected me. I'm not lying to you, it affected me. It affected me a lot. It hurt me a lot. I can't describe to you the amount of fear that I had. I was afraid that I would say, why did Imane Khelif insist on this? I was afraid, but thank God I was able to overcome this stage. Thanks to the specialists who helped me overcome the stage. And what can I say about this stage? It wasn't enough. It was very difficult. I couldn't wait for it. The scenario was very scary. Thank God to the people of Algeria and the Arab world knew Imane Khelif with her femininity, her courage, her will. For example, you talked about the former president of the United States who is in the middle of an election campaign right now. And he started to use the term and this topic as well as Elon Musk. What do you expect from these people? Honestly, I do not like to get into politics in sports, but they got into politics in sports. Sports and politics are 2 separate things. These politicians who are oppressing me, they don't have the right to say that I'm transgender. This is a big shame for my family, for the honor of my family, for the honor of Algeria, for the woman of Algeria, and especially the Arab world. The whole world knows that I'm a Muslim girl. I want to apologize to him. I want to apologize to him. Of course, I will apologize to him. I guess it's rough translations, maybe. I didn't apologize to him as a human being. I sent him a message that I'm a woman and that I will always be a woman. Okay. So that's the controversy, I guess, with that. She's suing them, and there's back and forth with that. We'll see what happens. But the other thing, hold on. If the lawsuit goes forward, if it happens, will she have to take the test? Right? Can they do that? Could that be a part of discovery? Okay, well, now you got to take the test. Right? There is women that in certain conditions that makes them have higher testosterone, but I don't know about is there conditions that can make you have both chromosomes? Or they're starting with the Harris thing. Is there conditions? I mean, is hermaphrodite like that or no? Make you have 2 chromosomes. Yes, there's conditions that can cause people to have more than the normal 46 chromosomes in their cell. Well, I should have done XY. That can make you have Sewer syndrome. Individuals with one X chromosome and one Y chromosome in each cell. Typically found in boys and men, however, they have female reproductive systems. Oh, God. But people with sewer syndrome have female external genitalia and some female internal reproductive structures. Yes, there's conditions that can cause people to have chromosomes that don't fit into their male or female binary. Intersex, sewer syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome. I guess they say there's some stuff. So we'll see what turns out with that. All right. The Secret Service agent abandoned post to breastfeed before Trump rally. Is this true? I saw this floating around today. I get woman got to breastfeed and stuff like that, but I don't know. Shouldn't you just have time off or something? How is that even possible? Are the baby's in the crowd or in the back room or some shit? And Secret Service agent abandoned post to breastfeed before Trump rally. But she abandoned the post minutes before Trump's rally in NC.
Detail. The Secret Service detail that's guarding former President Donald Trump. So this coming from Real Clear Politics reporting that a female Secret Service agent abandoned her post in North Carolina to breastfeed her baby during Trump's visit yesterday to the Tar Heel state. The report says about 5 minutes before Trump's motorcade arrived, the site agent who manages security for the entire event did a final sweep of the location.
And while walking the route, the site agent reportedly found the Secret Service special agent in question breastfeeding with two other family members present in a room that's supposed to be set aside for official business like an emergency involving the president. The report says the special agent did not have permission to leave her post and gave no warning prior to the event that she needed personal time.
That's pretty crazy. It's a very, very serious job to have. I don't know, breastfeeding and chilling and leaving your post, especially leaving your post. If you would have told somebody or like, hey, I got something, but just dipping out.
Working Secret Service agents are prohibited from bringing children or any family members, for that matter, on a protective assignment.
All right, still working on
polycystic
clarification and details.
The polycystic ovarian syndrome, is that one of the ones that can make women have kind of like higher testosterone or something? Or it doesn't mess with the chromosomes, right? Or does it? I thought that one, I think we talked about it one time. I thought that one can kind of mess with your hormones and testosterone levels, stuff like that.
On this, that coming from the reporter for RCP, and it comes about a month after what many consider to be the biggest Secret Service failure in recent American history, the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. For details, national correspondent Alana Austin just got a response from the Secret Service spokesman on this. She joins us live from Capitol Hill with this.
Other symptoms: male pattern baldness, acne, small pieces of skin. You see the testosterone. It does mess with your hormones, right? But testosterone level. Let's see. Yeah, the hormone disorder that causes ovaries to produce too much testosterone. So yeah, these women could have raised levels of the luteinizing hormone, low levels of the sex hormone, raised levels of prolactin. Oh, prolactin stimulates the breast glands to produce milk during pregnancy. Increased risk of developing diabetes, obesity. Oh, that sucks. Damn, it's like a long ass list. Damn. All right.
This story, Alana.
Hi, good morning, Sean and Emma. And certainly, as you mentioned there, we're really just weeks out from the attempted assassination on the former president. And we heard from a whistleblower, if you will, a counter sniper, saying he was worried there could be another attack imminently as all of these campaign events, the calendar intensifies here leading up to the November elections. And here's the response I just received from the U.S. Secret Service spokesperson. It is saying all employees of the U.S. Secret Service are held to the highest standards. While there was no impact to the North Carolina event, the specifics of this incident are being examined. Given this is a personnel matter, we are not in a position to comment further. So there were many alarming details of this report that first broke from Real Clear Politics about the family members on site, of course, just minutes before this event is really supposed.
That's pretty wild to me, especially after what happened. You know, you expect like super high alert or like, no complacency. I guess maybe the family was there and she's there working, and maybe they brought the kid and she was thinking, oh, let me just feed the kid. But no, that's wildly irresponsible. I mean, it's not like you're working one of these jobs you're, I don't know, in an office and you stepped out on lunch break, somebody brought your kid by or whatever. Crazy. I couldn't believe the story. I thought maybe it was fake when I first saw that. Oh, real quick. Amanda Bynes, I saw this video yesterday. I cannot believe, what happened to this woman? Wow. It's incredible. Oh my gosh. Do I have another? I had another video. I don't know what I did with it. I had another video. I was supposed to show that to you guys. Oh, here. Amanda Bynes through the years. 2024, 2023, 2022, 2019. So abuse, MK Ultra, issues growing up. I cannot believe that, man. She was so pretty too. Crazy. Amanda show. She's been through some horrible things. This is now. And I guess, is that like her eyebrows kind of waxed or tattooed on or something, or painted on? I don't know. Mental illness, right? I can't believe it, man. It's so crazy to see that over the years. Flow state. Crazy, man. Scary, right? You could have all the money, and I mean, where's her parents at? I don't know anything about her parents. Some of her parents. I mean, if I saw my kid like this, I don't know, I'd be freaking out. We gotta get you help. But are they the cause of this shit? I don't know the history. Did they sell themselves out? Like those parents sold their kids out to R. Kelly. Jeez. Ooh, there's so many things popping up. I want to try to get done in the next 30 minutes because we have another live at 3. I kind of need to read a little bit about it more. I pulled up the articles. Nat was helping me out with this stream and that one, pulling up links and stuff. So that's Amanda. Here's real quick too, because this kind of falls into some of the topics. This is if you haven't seen.
Hi everyone.
This is the breakdancer. Apparently they had breakdancing in the Olympics. Her name is Ray Gunn, and she got a lot of backlash. And it is funny the way she performed. I was shocked that she got in. I don't know how she was. I don't know, because they showed even videos of what the other people that lost to her, how they were performing, and it was like nowhere near like they blew her out, but somehow she won. But anyway, she's talking now after the backlash, and I think she seems pretty good spirited.
Ray Gunn here. I just want to start by.
And apparently now, I don't know if Teabag, if you're listening, because I saw you put the link on Discord. Apparently now, they terminated breakdancing for the next Olympics.
Thanking all the people who have supported me. I really appreciate the positivity and.
Terminated, or they haven't listed it, something, but I saw it wasn't happening anymore.
I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. That's what I hoped. I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. Well, I went out there and I had fun. I did take it very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave my all, truly. I'm honoured to have been a part of the Australian Olympic team and to be part of Breaking's Olympic debut.
It was really funny, and it's hard to find the clips because the Olympic people, they keep taking the videos down. So if you show it on YouTube or you post the video, they'll like take it down. You can't even play the shit. But I forgot where I found it. I think if you go online and you type it on Google search, it might come up, or you might find some really brief clips on Twitter if you type it in. But they've been really cracking down hard.
What the other athletes
I think she was trolling. Somebody said she's the best troll ever.
Have achieved has just been phenomenal. In regards to the allegations and misinformation floating around, I'd like to ask everyone to please refer to the recent statement made by the AOC, as well as the posts on the Ozbreaking Instagram page, as well as the WDSF Breaking for Gold.
And the allegations was something about, like, they were saying that she was connected or in cahoots with some of these people over there. That's how she got in. If you watch that clip where they show the people that she lost to, the people that she beat, I'm saying. If they watch the video that showed the clip of these people that she beat, and you saw how they were performing compared to how she was performing, these people were like, to me, it seemed like they were doing true breakdancing. We're like, oh shit, like, really, really, whatever. And so when you see her perform, it really is kind of like, wow, how did she get in? But she said she was legit and she tried hard. And
old page. Bit of a fun fact for you. There are actually no points in breaking.
Oh, that's the other thing too, that she got no points, they were saying.
If you want to see how the judges thought I compared to my opponents, you can actually see the comparison percentages across the 5 criteria on Olympics.com. All the results are there. I'm going to be in Europe for a few weeks for some pre-planned downtime, but I'd really like to ask the press to please stop harassing my family, my friends, the Australian breaking community, and the broader street dance community. Everyone has been through a lot as a result of this, so I ask you to please respect their privacy. I'll be happy to answer more questions on my return to Australia.
Yeah, I'd probably take a break too. I felt a little sympathetic the other day because I saw a clip and I'm like, damn, bro, like that's tough, bro. That's really tough. But I also saw this and I thought that this was really funny. Somebody came up with a windshield wiper with her. Sorry. I want that so bad for my car. How do they do that? Like at the back, yeah. All right, that's North Carolina. Another thing that's kind of somewhat funny, it's kind of crazy actually. I'm assuming this is real. I've seen this flying everywhere, no pun intended, all over Twitter. And it says like the co-pilot jumped out. Co-pilot jumps out of the plane mid-flight. Okay, dude, just I don't know how that works out. What kind of plane? Because I think planes, when you're at a certain altitude, the doors don't open until you get lower to. Maybe they were low enough. I don't know. Or it depends. On those jetliners, I think if you're at really, really high, you can't just open it. But once you get down to a certain altitude, I think you can open it. Anyway, check this out. It looks probably low enough.
My co-pilot just ran out the back of the plane. He just did what? He just ran out the back of the plane. So you don't have a co-pilot on, you said? No, he just jumped out the back of the plane. Right. Would you like me to circle where he left at? Say that again? Would you like me to circle where he got out at, or you got me on track? We still have you on track. Did you need something else?
See, like some of these people, and I literally replied under Kaufman after his thing. I'm like, I thought this guy was high or something. The tower control person. He's like not. You ever talk to somebody, they're not listening? People that know me are saying like, yeah, Mel, I talk to you all the time, and you're not listening. This guy's like, hi, yo, the guy jumped out of the effing plane, and the pilot's actually trying to be considerate. He's not like trying to be funny. He's like, hey, do you want me to, do you know where I'm at? Because this person's going to be dead. They're going to be deceased. And so maybe so the family can, put him to rest or whatever. So they have an idea where the body's at. And the guy's like, huh? What? Oh, what? Like you have to say it multiple times. And it's just something you actually need. Motherfucker. I don't know how these pilots stay so calm, because I would snap if I'm in the middle of the air. I probably would say, they probably hear me curse, but they're not supposed to do that, but I probably would.
So you don't have a co-pilot on, you said? No, he just jumped out the back of the plane. Right. Would you like me to circle where he left at? Say that again? Would you like me to circle where he got out at, or you got me on track? We still have you on track. Did you need something else? No, the dude literally jumped out the back of the plane without a parachute. Did you need to do something else, circle or something?
And he's still like, did you need something else? Circle or something? What?
No, I need to land. I'm just making you aware you're going to have a dead body out where I just called you at. He just jumped out the back of the plane. You're Roger. They continue on you heading 050.
It's like it's almost like the guy couldn't even process it. The tower guy. Crazy. Couldn't process what's going on. You don't want somebody like that flying your plane either. The tower guy. Some shit going on. Huh? What? What? Say that again? What? It's like those 911 operators. Remember the one we heard recently? You could literally be getting killed. Sir, send the police. I'm like, ma'am, calm down. Tell me, slow down. And there's like all this background noise and shut up. Ma'am. That lady where all the 3 kids got shot and killed. Right? The father killed the kids. And the operator's just being, I don't know, like an idiot kind of. I think she had to call back. There's one I'm going to cover. I've been saying I'm going to cover it forever. I covered it previously on its channel, but there's another effed up one where this lady was like slowly dying. The operator's just being a bitch. It's so horrible. I found like a longer version of that. I want to cover that. I think she ended up like leaving or got let go. Another one that's pretty interesting. I think I've posted this or talked about it before, but this is still just so incredible. This plane landing on the highway. I mean, like dodging the cars or trying to avoid the cars. Holy moly. Did a good job, but it had an engine failure, I believe. Applying the brakes. Look at this, so close. Ah! Manages to turn it. If it was me in these cars, I would have gone off-road. These motherfuckers, some of these guys just keep going and shit. I would have slowed down and got off the road towards the trees. I mean, not crashing the tree, but it has railings, maybe. Oh, I think it does have railings. Is that railings? I don't know if that's railings. It looks like there might be a railing on the left. Maybe that's a railing. I would have gone off-road with that shit. You think I'm going to keep driving towards a goddamn airplane coming at me? Amazing. I don't know if we want to see that. We did that already. Secret Service, Amanda Bynes, crazy. We kind of talked about this too, but oh, this is just kind of wild to me too. Not only so Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling could be handed 5-year prison sentences and fined $214,000 if an Olympic boxer, Imane Khelif, wins criminal cyberbullying case. Isn't they in the UK? Where's that coming from? I just wouldn't go back to the UK, right? Or where's this shit from? You got the pound sign there. Currency sign. Now Khelif has filed a lawsuit to French authorities alleging. What are they going to do in some other place? They can. What are they going to? They're going to extradite Trump? I mean, Elon. Yo, Luna. Or who said that? Mel will never be caught in a plane with these videos. Last night I was watching plane crash videos. I'm like obsessed. I was watching the Brazilian airplane too, and learning about like how it stalled, and how they're saying it was probably icing, and like how airplanes work. What do they call the attack on something? Critical attack or something. The way the airplane flies and how the wings are so, the air is going above and below the wings, and they fly a little bit of an angle. And if you start building ice, it can deform the shape of the wing and do all kinds of stuff, make the airplane heavier, all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway, so yeah, this is happening. Let me see if anything else that we didn't know or talk about. Nabil Bodhi told the medalist Paris-based attorney that, has told Variety, Musk and Rowling were both named in the criminal complaint to the anti-online hatred. Damn. Musk's social media network X, formerly named Twitter, which means it filed against unknown persons according to the French law. The lawyer explained that it ensures the prosecution has all the altitude or latitude, too much planes, well, it's whatever, to investigate against all people, including those who shared hateful messages under pseudonyms. Damn, so they're going after everybody on Twitter? What? There's going to be a lot of people. Trump tweeted, so whether or not he is named in our lawsuit, he will inevitably be looked at as part of the prosecution. All right. I wonder what exactly did Elon say for them to do this, or is it just because he has the platform? Okay, J.K. Rowling says, this whole thread, then explain why you're okay with a man beating a woman in public for your entertainment. This isn't sport, from the bullying cheat in red all the way up to the organizers who allowed this to happen. This is men reveling in their power over women. Okay. But it does with Trump, I will keep men out of women's sports. If he didn't say Imane's name, I mean, that could be anybody, right? Trump shared he shared a clip of Khelif's fight versus Serena. I don't know, bro. That's wild. Not for people for the tweets. Sound like UK.
لم أستطع التحكم في أعصاب تاعي لأنه بعد الضجة الإعلامية وبعد الفوز كانت في نفس الوقت فرحة وفي نفس الوقت.
Everybody gonna start getting sued for this Twitter shit. All right, let's move on from that. So we know that. Oh, this is for potentially later. I heard that there might be, I don't know if it's true, I haven't seen it myself, that Taco Bell shooting yesterday, that crazy thing we covered last night. There might be a press conference, so I'm really wondering what the story behind that is. We'll see if they give us an update on that. Today, don't forget, at 4:30, for those that are interested, Trump is having a press conference, so I think that will be interesting. He's probably going to pop off. We could look at this for a few minutes. Kamala. Yeah, they still get started.
Everyone, can we please applaud Judy? I love you back.
Oh. Okay, no, yeah, we're behind. Well, let's check it out. Let's check them out for a bit.
Oh, it's good to see so many friends. It is good to see so many friends.
By the UK.
I want to thank you. Thank you. And let's please thank you. I love you back. Thank you for sharing her story. I think we all know it takes a very special person who has dedicated over 40 years of their life to do the work that Judy has done as a nurse. That work being what? To care about other people in a way that is about lifting them up and caring about their well-being. So Judy, we thank you so very much for being here today. I want to recognize the incredible Governor Wes Moore. Who's here with Don and their son. And Wes, I'm so thankful to you for all that you do in service to our nation in so many different ways, and your friendship, but in particular, to share such a personal story as you have, and I know it takes a lot out of you to share that story, but to do it in a way that is about lifting up other people and helping, hopefully, others who are not in this room understanding how real people are impacted every day about this issue and by this issue. Thank you. I want to recognize the people of our administration, including Secretary Becerra, who is here, the bold administrator, Brooks LaSure, who is here, Fume for all her folks. I'm telling you, Marilyn, you're going to do a great thing when you send her to the United States Senate.
I want to hear what they have to say. Meat and potatoes.
And of course, I could speak all afternoon about the person that I am standing on this stage with. Joe Biden. And he's going to speak in a minute, but there's a lot of love in this room for our president.
Damn,
and I think it's for many, many reasons, including few leaders in our nation have done more on so many issues, including to expand access to affordable health care than Joe Biden. And today we take the next step, thank you, Joe, forward in our fight.
It's like all this is all planned. People programmed and shit.
We believe deeply every senior in our nation should be able to live with security, stability, and dignity. And so in the United States of America, no senior should have to choose between either filling their prescription or paying their rent. That's the subject of today. Okay. Because we know for far too long, far too many of our seniors have struggled to afford their medication. And as a result, seniors have been forced to spend their time trying to figure out how they are going to be able to fill a prescription like insulin based on the doctor's prescription, which is about saving their life, or whether they'd have to ration their pills to be able to make it stretch through a month. And why, we all know, but let's ask, why are prescription drugs so expensive? I will tell you. Well, one big reason is for years, Big Pharma has often inflated the price of life-saving medications, often charging many times what it would cost to make just to increase their profits. And millions of Americans have suffered as a result. My entire career, I've worked to hold bad actors accountable and lower the cost of prescription drugs. As Attorney General of California, I took on pharmaceutical companies for deceptive marketing and illegally inflating the cost of drugs, and we won billions of dollars. As a United States Senator, I fought to pass
what y'all do with $1 billion?
laws
Send it to Ukraine?
that would make health care more affordable and accessible for all Americans. And as Vice President, together with Joe Biden, our president, we finally addressed the long-standing issue that for years was one of the biggest challenges on this subject, which was that Medicare was prohibited by law.
And what about the insurance companies? I mean,
from negotiating lower drug prices. And those costs then got passed on to our seniors. But not anymore. 2 years ago, we gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for the first time in history. And here is why that matters. It is nearly impossible for a patient to negotiate lower prices by themselves. Just think about that. Somebody who needs the medication, who may be suffering from a serious illness, that they would by themselves be able to negotiate against a big drug company to lower that prices is virtually impossible. It's one person against a huge corporation. But Medicare represents more than 65 million people. And so Medicare has collective bargaining power. And now Medicare can use that power to go toe-to-toe with Big Pharma and negotiate lower drug prices.
Good.
Thank you, Joe. And this is to the benefit of not only tens of millions of people on Medicare, but also millions of Americans on Medicare who have long-term disabilities. And understand, as a result of our negotiations, the government will also pay less than for prescription drugs. And think about what that means in terms of helping taxpayers save money, whether or not they take these medications. So all of this is to say, 2 years ago as vice president, I was proud to cast the tie-breaking vote that sent the bill that gave Medicare the power to negotiate and let it get to the president's desk. And I was proud when our president, Joe Biden, signed that bill into law.
I don't believe it.
In
Honestly,
the 2
don't.
years since, we've been using this new power to lower the price of life-saving medications, and now to announce the result of those negotiations. It is my eternal and great, great, great honor, I have to tell you, to serve with this most extraordinary human being and American and leader, our President, Joe Biden.
Thank you. Well, I love you guys too. I've been waiting for this moment for a long, long time. First time I sponsored a bill to let Medicare negotiate the price of drugs was in 1973 as a freshman senator with a guy named Frank Church from the state of Idaho. Folks, I have an incredible partner. The progress we've made, she's going to make one hell of a president. And Judy, thank you for sharing your story. It's a familiar one for far too many Americans. People like my dad used to lay in bed at night when they lost his insurance as the company he worked for, staring at the ceiling, literally, and you've all experienced, you know people who have experienced this, wondering what in God's name happened if my wife gets breast cancer, or if I get sick, or my children get seriously ill. What happens? What in God's name, how can we pay for the drugs, prescription drugs? I'm serious, these are the discussions. You know it. Do we have enough insurance? Can we afford the medical bills? We'll have to sell the house to get a second mortgage. There are discussions that took place in my house and your house. Kamala and I both get it. We know it isn't just about health care. It's about your dignity. No, it's about your dignity. It's about peace of mind. It's about security. It's about taking care of your family. It's about giving folks just a little bit more breathing room. That's all. Look, I believe that health care should be a right, not a privilege in America. And Cam and I are here today to make a major announcement on our efforts to lower the extraordinary high prescription drug prices. But before I do, I want to thank Governor Wes Moore, members members of Congress. I served in the Senate for 270 years. I know I only look 40, but I'm a little bit older. The longest time I was too damn young because I was only about 29 when I got elected. Now I'm too damn old.
Oh, the prick.
But I'll tell you one thing in between. One of the finest, most decent men I've ever worked with. When I think of integrity, is Ben Cardin. Stand up, Ben. Stand up. I really mean it. I measure the people I work with by their integrity. He does what he says and says what he does. Look, folks, also, Nanette Barragan, for the longest time, she tried to pretend with me she was Irish, her name Barragan. She's a great friend, and she's one of the great leaders in this country for the Hispanic community. Congressman Fume, where are you? Stand up, man.
All right. I'm going to head out for now and relax for a little bit, and I got to just read a few things real quick, but 3 p.m. we're going to cover this child killer that's still on the loose. I'm going to just see if there's any new information. I found something already that's kind of new and updated. We're going to cover that, talk about it for a little bit, and then at 4:30 is the Trump press conference, and I'm also really curious enough. There's going to be a little press conference later with this other Taco Bell situation, so I'll keep an eye out for that. All right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you in a bit. Thank you. Bloop, 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 bloop. Yeah, I had to cut it.